I'm Steve Ferentz from SUNY Polytechnic Institute here at InterSolar North America in San Francisco. And with me is Dr. Pradeep Haldar, SUNY Poly Vice President for Clean Energy Programs, or Entrepreneurship, Innovation, and Clean Energy Programs, as well as the Chief Operating and Technical Officer of the U.S. PVMC, the United States Photovoltaic Manufacturing Consortium, which is, of course, also pioneered by SUNY Poly. Dr. Haldar, thanks so much for joining me today. You or actually moderating a panel session, a discussion really, on the future of PV technologies in the digital age, especially as it pertains to data analytics and the Internet of Things. Bring me through your thoughts, what you hope those in attendance will take with them.
Thank you, Steve. It's really a pleasure to be here at InterSolar and to organize this panel. The PVMC, which is a collaboration with the U.S. Department of Energy and several industrial PV manufacturing companies, as well as installing companies and EPCs and developer companies. I mean, we have been very successful in working with our companies to develop next generation technologies, not just through the manufacturing process, but also from a deployment perspective. So some of the new things that are emerging now relate to how the digital age is impacting all of the solar installations that are out there. So the Internet of Things and data collection and analytics of that data, basically integrating it with new information such as weather patterns, as well as aggregated performance data of PV, and how it's benefiting, whether it's the end user client or the developer in terms of financing, are key things that are now being addressed because of the ability of us to collect this data. And PVMC is actually now headed in a direction to really establish what we call a control and command center, where we can actually not just collect the data, analyze it, report on it, but also be able to provide a control back to the PV generation system. So what we're trying to do is, with a lot of our partner companies, understand what the state of the art is in that area. We have companies such as IBM, Google's Nest, the U.S. Department of Energy Sunshot Program, M&W, their solar division, and also REC Solar, who are on the panel. And our intention is to interact with them, get a feel from the audience in terms of where the technology is headed, and how the Internet of Things and collection of data through sensors and the command and control approach can take PV to the next level. So that's what we're all about today.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, as SUNY Poly, New York State under Governor Andrew Cuomo, really the epicenter for a lot of this research, development, commercialization, creating a lot of synergies in this high-tech ecosystem. So bring me through your thoughts as all of this is being enabled really in New York State.
Absolutely, Steve. In fact, under Governor Cuomo's program, there are two main initiatives. One is called the REV, the Reforming the Energy Vision program, and the next one is New York Sun program. Under both of those programs, the goal is to increase deployment of renewable energy technologies, supposed to get to 50% renewable energies by 2030 in New York State alone, one of the leading states to get to that level. In order for that to happen, the things that we're currently doing, any kind of distributed energy resource, including storage such as batteries that get integrated with PV systems, need to be controlled in a manner that you understand how it interacts with the rest of the grid. There's two-way communications that need to happen, not just from the storage in the PV system, but also to the rest of the grid. So our ability to be able to be at the forefront of those technologies and demonstrate those technologies is really putting New York State on the map and at the forefront, thanks to Governor Cuomo for all his initiatives that he's putting in place. And us at SUNY Poly, through PVMC, is leading this effort in New York, but also not just in New York, but also in the nation too.
Wonderful, great perspective. Thank you so much. And joining me right now, Amar, Qusaibaty, Department of Energy Technical Advisor. Thanks so much for joining me. Wanted to ask you, a lot of sessions going on here, obviously, and the DOE playing such a central role in the development of PV technologies and really ushering in the future. Bring me through your thoughts, especially as New York State, the U.S. PVMC, which is centered there, the Photovoltaic Manufacturing Consortium, really takes the next steps as it pertains to data analytics, Internet of Things, and other technologies, so that way PV really can be accessible in the future.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. I think from the perspective of the U.S. Department of Energy, data has been a tremendous issue for us. We see that the cost of solar is going down. However, what we call transaction cost or soft cost has been sort of stubborn. It's not been going down significantly. And one of the areas in which we think that soft cost can go down is through streamlining data assets out there in the marketplace. So we're deploying solar out there in the marketplace. However, managing and operating these systems, measuring their performance has been a challenge for the industry. So one of the initiatives that we've done, and we think you guys been contributing significantly to it, is a program called the Orange Bond Initiative. And this program is really focused on bringing the industry together. We're convening, it's more of a convening role that we're playing with the U.S. Department of Energy to bring the industry to come and define data standards. So around financing, operation and maintenance, grid operations, as well as real estate sort of valuation of some of these solar assets are being deployed in the marketplace. So the concept is really to get the industry to agree how they want to, what sort of data taxonomies that they want to track, and so they can exchange and share among themselves to create more visibility and transparency of these solar assets in the marketplace.
Wonderful. Amar Qusaibaty from the Department of Energy, thanks so much for your perspective here.
Absolutely, thank you.